At least one Republican has promised to file impeachment articles against Joe Biden on day one, as pollsters are shocked by a surge in support for President Trump. In this video, we're going to take a look at the articles of impeachment against Biden that a Georgia congresswoman is drafting up as we speak, how the Democrats only have themselves to blame for their pathetic weaponization of impeachment, and why Trump's support refuses to collapse to the utter disbelief of the political establishment. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you. As always, we believe the worldwide populist revolt has just begun, and we're here to give you conservative hope in the midst of admittedly turbulent and trying times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel, as each and every day we analyze often distressing current events, but in light of very hopeful conservative trends, so we can all think better and therefore feel better. Before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's our good friends over at Noble Gold. Silver and gold. Okay, you wanted me to sing this the other day. Silver and gold. When times are tumultuous and turbulent, you can't beat them. They're frankly, and it's just never been a better time to start a gold or silver IRA in your portfolio, and the amazing staff over at Noble Gold are ready to help you in any way that they can. And if that's not incentive enough, Noble Gold is giving away the U.S. Mint's own solid silver 5-ounce, $1 Apollo 11 moon landing coin with each qualifying gold or silver IRA. It's absolutely beautiful. So do not wait. Click on that link below or visit their website at noblegoldinvestments.com or give them a call at 877-646-5347. Make sure to mention my name, Dr. Steve Turley, and let's ride that gold and silver wave together. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. The newly elected Republican representative from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, took to Twitter on Wednesday to announce that she will in fact be filing articles of impeachment against Joe Biden on day one after inauguration. She in turn tweeted out the now infamous panel discussion at the Council of Foreign Relations, where Biden boasted about how he pressured the then Ukrainian President Poroshenko to fire their special prosecutor who was investigating Burisma, the corrupt natural gas company that, of course, Biden's son Hunter was part of. Biden explicitly stated that he threatened the then President Poroshenko that he would withhold $1 billion of U.S. loan guarantees until the special prosecutor, a guy by the name of Victor Shokin, was fired. Speaking to Newsmax TV, Representative Greene said that she would file the articles of impeachment against Biden on January 21st, the day after he steps into office. As she put it, quote, "We cannot have a president of the United States that is willing to abuse the power of the office of the presidency and be easily bought off by foreign governments, Chinese and Ukrainian energy companies. So on January 21st, I will be filing articles of impeachment on Joe Biden." Now, interestingly, what Representative Greene is doing here is actually a kind of fulfillment of what talk radio host Mark Levin called for about a year ago after the first impeachment of President Trump. You may recall that Levin was so furious with the Democrats in their rush to impeach the first time, which now looks tame in comparison to the fiasco that happened yesterday. But he was so livid over the precedent that this reckless impeachment established that he openly called, already back in December 2019, he was already calling for the impeachment of the next Democrat president. Here's how Levin put it, quote, "What the Democrats have done here will only be stopped, and the precedent that is so damning to this country will only be stopped if it is unleashed on them. The next president who's a Democrat must be impeached. They must be investigated over and over again, follow exactly the Schiff-Nadler procedures, the Nancy Pelosi process. It must be done. I know it sounds painful. I had a caller say to me the other day when I said that it was disingenuous, that it shows that we're no better than them. No, that's wrong. It shows we must defeat this internal fifth column enemy, and they must understand that we have the willingness to do it so they don't pull this again, because otherwise, this is the precedent set in place right now. Republicans will be rollovers for the rest of their time, and Democrats will be bulldogs. We can't allow that to happen. And amen to that. And that's precisely what Representative Greene is fulfilling here. She's following Mark Levin's path, forward and stepping up and saying 75 million Americans are not going away. Our voice is going to be heard, and our concerns are going to be addressed. Now, of course, at this point in the game, our actions are mostly symbolic. The Democrats own the House, only a handful of votes, by the way, but the Democrats own the House. But Green is clearly establishing herself as a leader of the MAGA movement within a Republican Party whose leadership, unfortunately, the leadership is still dominated by establishment globalist rhinos. But you might recall that during the debate over impeachment, Representative Green actually wore a mask that had the word censored splashed across it. So she's establishing herself as a very bold, very provocative, and willing to take on the system, which is exactly what we need. We need the entire Republican Party, most especially the leadership, to have just such fight and grit. At the same time this is going on, the pollster Frank Luntz, man, he held a focus group for Fox News that featured a number of Trump supporters. And when he asked them if they would still vote for Trump even after everything that's happened, he looked utterly shocked. I mean, he visibly appeared shell-shocked when the group reported that 91% of Trump supporters would vote for him all over again, no problem. The number is probably higher than that, by the way. And Luntz was completely beside himself. He had absolutely no frames of reference to be able to understand how that possibly could be so. But Tucker Carlson does. He's noted quite rightly that impeaching Trump has only enhanced his stature with GOP voters. So this is what pollsters like Frank Luntz just don't seem to be able to understand. The more the Democrats try to destroy Trump, the more popular he gets among his base. And it's actually explicable in scholarly literature. This is totally predictable, and we'll see why. But first, in response to this latest progressive purge, we here at Turley Talks are currently setting up a number of different alt-tech sites so that we never ever lose touch with each other. And we would love to share with you all the different sites that we're on. And you can find out by simply clicking on the link below and signing up for our alternative media directory. It's constantly ongoing and being added to. It's a directory that's going to make sure that you find precisely the alt-tech site that's right for you. And best of all, you'll learn how to think better so you can feel better, but without the threat of censorship. It is absolutely free, so make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our Turley Talks alternative media directory today. All right, so why is Trump's base so even more supportive of him than ever? Well, in cultural anthropology, you have a principle that external conflict breeds internal solidarity. External conflict breeds internal solidarity. It's also known as the process of segmentary oppositions. That's its technical term. So, for example, as kids, my brother and I might fight all the time, right? We might drive our mother nuts because we just can't get along, right? We can't stand each other. But then our cousins come over. And all of a sudden, my brother and I team up in a conflict with our cousins. But then my brother and my cousins go out and we find that we get into a conflict with the neighborhood kids. Well, then all of a sudden, our whole extended family, cousins and all, bond together in this conflict with the neighborhood kids. And it just keeps going. If all the kids in our neighborhood are faced with threats from kids from another neighborhood, then we all bond together against the rival neighborhood, and on and on and on. External threats breed internal solidarity. And this is actually, at least in part, what's behind the rise of nationalist populism going on all over the world, particularly Italy, by the way. We'll have to do that in another video. So when you have the Democrats trying to impeach our president over and over again in this lawless and pathetic manner, when you have the media bombardment of 24/7 negative coverage, when you have the constant shriekings of social justice warriors disguised as journalists, when you have big tech banning us all over the place, when you have Democrats promising to destroy everything that we love about our nation, it's not a surprise that we're finding Trump's base, Trump's political base, continuing to rally around their man more than ever. So this is why Trump's approval rating has actually gone up over the last several days. President Trump's approval rating has actually surged. Newsmax reported that a Rasmussen poll found that approval for President Trump actually rose after last Wednesday's protest to 48%. In fact, Newsmax reported that Trump's approval soared to 51% on that Thursday evening as part of a rolling survey. And as of today, Rasmussen has him remaining steady at 46% approval. I mean, Left-wing activists disguised as journalists, along with the Democratic Party and the Rhino Republican establishment, they simply cannot understand why Trump's approval ratings simply won't crash. They just don't get it. And I frankly don't think they ever will. I don't think they will ever get it. And that's because they don't understand that the political paradigm that has shaped and defined politics for nearly a century has shifted, right? We talked about this just the other day in another video. There is currently, as we speak, a massive tectonic transition going on that's moving politics away from the paradigm that dominated the 20th century. And that was a paradigm that centered on ideology and economics, right? So this was a politics that divided over whether you were a capitalist or a communist, whether you were a Republican or a Democrat, whether you were a conservative or a liberal. It was a highly ideological and economic form of politics. What scholars have noticed over the last few decades is that we are slowly but surely moving away from that ideological political paradigm toward a new politics that centers on identity and the reawakening of the central importance of nation, culture, custom, and tradition to that identity. And this was originally argued by Sam Huntington of Harvard University. He recognized back in the early 1990s that we were moving away from an ideologically based politics to an identity-based politics. And the problem that we're facing right now as we speak is that the political class, our political, economic, big tech, and media elite, our political class, both Democrat and Republican, are still stuck in the old politics. This is why they're erasing everybody who's guilty of wrongthing. This is why they're trying to degender language. This is why they're trying to infuse quite literally everything with critical race theory. They are still stuck in a world where politics revolves around ideology. But scholars have recognized that the new politics, the politics of identity, the politics of nation, culture, custom, and tradition, has indeed taken root and is indeed growing by the day in the midst of what we call simply the people, the populace. And this growing rift between the people and the political class, between the old ideological politics and the new identity politics, is precisely what's animating and growing the massive populist revolt that we're seeing all over the world. And the more the political class tries to destroy it, the stronger and more pervasive it becomes. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it. It was our live stream last night where we get into the foolishness, the utter foolishness of the Democrats' vote to impeach Trump for the second time. All the secession support surges throughout the nation. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there.